Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel Luxury Ways. A channel that is all about style and class. We hope that all of you guys have enjoyed our previous video of the top 7 most luxury diamonds in the world. But before we move on towards our today's video, please like our video and subscribe to our channel Luxury Ways. In today's video, we are going to talk about the top 7 most luxury games ever made in the world. Back in the late 80s and early 90s, the cost of developing video games was fairly modest when compared to what it is today. As the capabilities of home consoles and high-end gaming rigs have increased, development costs have risen sharply, with most modern titles now costing publishers and developers tens of millions of dollars to produce. Some, however, can cost considerably more. Over the last 10 years, there has been a huge increase in the number of games costing more than $50 million to develop, and that's before marketing and promotional costs are taken into account. While most of these titles do manage to turn a profit, some of the figures involved can be truly mind-blowing and offer a lot of insight into the sheer scale of the games industry as well as how competitive it really is. Starting with number 7. Battlefield 4 $100 million. Battlefield 4 is a 2013 first-person shooter video game developed by DICE and published by Electronic Arts. Considered by many to be one of the very best FPS franchises out there, it should perhaps come as little surprise to learn that EA's Battlefield games are not cheap to make. According to the company's former chief creative officer Richard Hilleman, in fact, the series' fourth entry cost a staggering $100 million to develop, which would make Battlefield 4 the franchise's most expensive and luxury title to date. The game performed strongly with critics and has sold more than 7 million copies since its launch. Despite these impressive accomplishments, however, it struggled to keep up with the competition, with Call of Duty Ghosts going on to sell almost 3 times as many copies. Whether the highly anticipated Battlefield 6 will fare any better in this regard remains to be seen. And this gives Battlefield 4 $100 million the number 7 spot on our list of the top 7 most luxury games ever made in the world. Number 6. Max Payne 3 $105 million. Max Payne 3 is a third-person shooter video game developed by Rockstar Studios and published by Rockstar Games. It was released on May 15, 2012 for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. A Microsoft Windows port was released on May 29, 2012, followed by an OS X port on June 20, 2013. Rockstar Games isn't known for taking half measures or playing it safe, as evidenced by the sheer scale of the projects that the developer typically takes on. While GTA and Red Dead may be the most notable examples of this though, there are plenty of other impressive titles decorating the company's extensive back catalog of games. One of these is Max Payne 3. The iconic video game cop's third and final outing is also his most expensive, with estimates suggesting that the game had a production budget of $105 million. It sold more than 4 million copies in its first year though, so should at the very least have recouped its development budget. More importantly, perhaps, the game served as a perfect send-off for Max while also offering a solid gameplay experience in the process. And this gives Max Payne 3 $105 million the number 6 spot on our list of the top 7 most luxury games ever made in the world. Number 5. Grand Theft Auto 5 $137 million. Grand Theft Auto 5 is a 2013 action-adventure game developed by Rockstar North and published by Rockstar Games. It is the 7th main entry in the Grand Theft Auto series, following 2008's Grand Theft Auto 4 and the 15th installment overall. Regardless of one's thoughts on the game itself, it's hard to argue that the $137 million Rockstar poured into the initial development of Grand Theft Auto 5 wasn't money well spent. It has sold more than 140 million units since it first went on sale back in 2013. An amount that will no doubt increase when the PS5 and Xbox Series ports of the game finally arrive in late 2021. For those wondering, that all equates to a total profit of around $6 billion and counting. It's worth noting that the $137 million figure only covers the game's initial production costs, with DLC, GTA Online and the game's multiple next-gen ports likely to have driven that amount far higher over the course of the last 8 years. The game's initial marketing budget is also believed to have been around $137 million, so, when all said and done, it wouldn't be too surprising to learn that Rockstar has now spent more than $300 million on the title in total. And this gives Grand Theft Auto V $137 million the number 5 spot on our list of the top 7 most luxury games ever made in the world. Number 4. Red Dead Redemption 2 $170 million. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a 2018 action-adventure game developed and published by Rockstar Games. The game is the third entry in the Red Dead series and is a prequel to the 2010 game Red Dead Redemption. It may not have sold quite as many copies as GTA V, but Red Dead Redemption 2 features just as much detail throughout its large open world. This attention to detail came at a huge cost, however, with the game alone is thought to have set the developer back between $170 and $240 million. With as much as $300 million spent on marketing on top of that amount, the true cost of the title may even have passed the $500 million mark. Considering the game generated an impressive $725 million in revenue in just its first 2 days on sale, it seems safe to say that Rockstar was once again able to make a healthy profit on this occasion. Like GTA Online though, the game's online features will no doubt have driven the production cost higher still since the game's initial release, so exactly how much the developer spent or made in total remains something of a mystery. And this gives Red Dead Redemption 2 $170 million the number 4 spot on our list of the top 7 most luxury games ever made in the world. Number 3. Cyberpunk 2077 $174 million. Cyberpunk 2077 is an action role-playing video game developed and published by CD Projekt. The story takes place in Night City, an open world set in the Cyberpunk universe. After 8 years in development and multiple delays, developer CD Projekt Red had a lot riding on the launch of Cyberpunk 2077. It sold well enough, but the game's buggy performance and various glitches led to widespread criticism from players, causing the company's value to fall by billions of dollars in the weeks that followed. Compared to that, the $316 million that was spent making and marketing the game seems like little more than a drop in the ocean. According to one of the company's own financial reports, around $174 million was spent on development, making it one of the most expensive games ever produced at the time of writing. Miraculously, the company did manage to turn a healthy profit on this amount, although its share price remains less than half of what it was prior to the game's release and shows no sign of bouncing back anytime soon. And this gives Cyberpunk 2077 $174 million the number 3 spot on our list of the top 7 most luxury games ever made in the world. Number 2. Star Wars: The Old Republic $200 million. Despite releasing almost a decade ago, Star Wars: The Old Republic continues to receive updates on a fairly regular basis. Considering how much time and money was spent on its initial development though, this really shouldn't come as much of a surprise. Reports suggest that the game had a $200 million development budget, making it one of EA's most expensive and most ambitious projects of all time. This ambition has definitely paid off though, with the game now thought to have generated more than $1 billion in revenue since servers first went live back in late 2011. This would make for a healthy return on the game's hefty development budget, and, with tens of thousands of people still playing the MMO, there really is no telling how much more profit the game might generate before its servers are finally shut down. And this gives Star Wars: The Old Republic $200 million the number 2 spot on our list of the top 7 most luxury games ever made in the world. Number 1. Star Citizen $275 million. Following several hugely successful crowdfunding campaigns, developer Cloud Imperium Games was able to raise more than $300 million for the production of Star Citizen. Since then, even more capital has been raised through private investment, which has, in turn, led to both the scale and the scope of the project increasing dramatically. While this is undoubtedly good news for backers and the game's future players though, it has brought with it a new problem. Production of the game first began back in 2011. Yet there is still no clear indication as to when a full commercial release will finally arrive. Estimates suggest that more than $275 million has already been spent on development up to this point, an amount that is only going to increase as production continues to drag on. To say that there is a lot riding on the game's final performance would therefore be a bit of an understatement. And this gives Star Citizen $275 million the #1 spot on our list of the top 7 most luxury games ever made in the world. So, guys, this is our today's video on the top 7 most luxury games ever made in the world. We hope that all of you guys will enjoy this video and let us know your opinion in the comment box. See you guys in our next video. Goodbye.